Hello everyone. Let me show you an app that I've made a small example of shared preferences before we proceed and start discussing what shared preferences are all about. You see access count 9 and 10 and 40. Let me come out of this app, go back again in 10 and 50. Again 11 and 61. If you ignore the below number, just focus on the top number. It increments by 1 every time I come back into the app. 12, 13 and 14. Now this is one way you can use shared preferences to basically count the number of times a user logs in to your app. We will discuss this example and another example to get better clarity about what all shared preferences has got in itself so as to help us make better apps. So let's see, how did we do that? How is it possible to count number of times an app has been accessed? And in this example, we'll just touch upon shared preferences once, and then in the next example, you will get much better clarity about what all shared preferences can do for you. Shared preferences form the major part of data persistence facility that Android gives us. You can also use SQLite if you once you get done with this part of shared of data persistence. SQLite is very similar to whatever you know about SQL, and even if you don't know about SQL much, you can still start using it. But my recommendation to you would be that you should start with shared preferences first. So what we will be doing is first we will try to create a layout so that we can start using that. So we have a text view in which we have mentioned width and height as wrap content, and text is access count. And because it's a relative layout, I will have to abide by its rules. Margin top 40 dp. This is done. Let's have another text view, and text is, as of now, let's put a 0 there, and id is text view. This is fine, and yeah, just margin top 60 dp. Fine. Just let's have a look at this. Taking some time. Never mind, let it take its own time. We will start doing our main activity because there's hardly anything to observe there. So what we're going to do here now is we have this main activity, and which is extending app compact activity. We will first declare the text views tv1, tv2, alt enter. Like the example that I showed you before we started this is not, we're not going to have two text views. We will have only one number which will increment. The other text view was not really important. I was just adding the older number to the newer number, so it's not that important. So we just have only two of the text views. One of the text views will have the access count, which has already been set. This access count, this is one text view, another one is this text view. We will not have the third one because it's not that important. This is text view tv1 and tv2, and then we start defining them here. tv1 is is text view find view by id r.id dot text view. Actually, we just need to define one only because there's only one text view on which numbers will be changing, right? So tv1 is enough. Another one is not really going to change, right? So tv1 is enough. After that, we call the shared preference classes and we make an object of shared preference get preferences. I'm pretty sure that once you're done with this example, this is the best example to start with the shared preferences because it gives you a very good understanding actually. So context mode private, I'm going to declare one variable val1, which is, so shared preferences is a class. I've made an object sp of that, and now I'm going to call a method get int access count comma 5. After this, shared preferences dot editor, and I name the object as sp dot editor edit. I increment the value of val1 with 1. So this is where the increment is happening, which you eventually get to see there, right? Okay, we will use it later. And then I'm going to put the edited stuff at the right place. And that's it. This is it. Now what I'll do is I'll run this program. Okay, first let me explain this to you. Here one more thing has to be added, and that's tv1.setText, because if we don't do that, then how will we be able to see the value getting incremented on the screen? Now let's discuss this. So what really happened here was that text view was defined where exactly it is lying, and then I called the class shared preferences. I made an object sp, and I called a method get preferences mode private. Mode private basically means that this shared preference belongs entirely to this app and nobody else, no other app can use this. There are other modes as well, mode public and all, which enable you or let you use your shared preferences from one app to another app. But here we are using a private. Integer value 1 is equal to sp.getInt. I'm sure you must have heard, or if you haven't, then you can definitely go through this concept of key value pair. This is very similar to that. This is the key and this is the value. Alright, this is a default value which I'm passing here, and which is getting stored in val1. Alright, and here what I'm doing is I'm asking tv1 to get set text with the same value which I picked from here, which I saved here. Alright, now what happens is I call the editor and I ask the editor to increment the value of val1 by 1. Okay, and the next step here, what I'm doing is I'm putting the integer using this key. I'm putting the new value here. So the key remains the same. Here it was access count. Here also it is access count. And then I put the value as val1. Alright. And then I finally commit it here. This will say that you need to use apply, but even commit works fine. Okay. So now one thing which you have to understand here is that when the screen gets created through the onCreate method, what happens is that you get to see a number 5 there, if you remember, right? That is because when I reached this line, I was told that val1 will hold the value of 5, the default value. This is where the first value got introduced to val1, and I set it here like this. Okay, but here what happened was, after the screen got created, till here the val1 was 5, and here the editor came into picture. I edited the value by incrementing it by 1, and I gave it a new value which is now 6, but it stays as 5 only. I do sp.commit. Now access count has the value 6, but in my text view it is still showing as 5. When I get out of the app, again I come back into the app. At that point in time, it goes and searches for access count key. What is the value with access count key now? And now it is 6, right? So that's why you see incremented value as 6 in the text view. Okay. Now I'll run this app on the now I've started doing it on my mobile phone, because I find it quite easy and convenient, and clarity is much better, right? So I'll run it on my mobile phone, and then let's see how does it work. So here's my app on my mobile phone. I launched it and I can see 5 here. I go out and then where is it? Shared preferences. Yeah, 6, right? Again 7, 8, and so on, right? So now we know that how to what we got some idea about shared preferences. Now in our next example it will get even better, what exactly a shared preference can do for us and how relevant it is, because this example only gives us an idea. It does not tell us how will it really help us to make an app, a secure app. So see you in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.